Well, we've all heard companies talk about their brand, right? It's how we as consumers immediately separate one product or service from another. In some cases, that company brand is a face. That is certainly true for the Basement Doctor, our good friend Ron Greenbaum. Ron, of course, joining me today along with Tanya Eberhardt, who is the founder of a Brand Face, here to talk about their new book. Now, it's called Brand Face for Home Improvement Professionals. So I want to welcome you, Tanya, and good to see you, Ron.
Great to see you,
Thanks for having us.
All right, first of all, I want you guys to tell me how you two first met.
Well, that was interesting. Another company actually hired Tanya to do a video for the Columbus Home and Garden Show. And she sent me a list of questions. She said, these are 4 questions I'm going to come in and ask you. And I immediately sent her back an email and said, those are the wrong 4 questions.
Imagine that.
Yeah, right?
She took it great. And she said, well, that's good. You know, well, why don't you send me the ones? And I did, and she came in, and immediately I knew this was going to be a great experience and somebody that I felt I really could work with. And she did a bang-up job, and as they say, the rest is history.
The rest is history. And Tanya, your company, Brand Face, tell us what that's all about.
Well, the mantra is people don't do business with a logo, they do business with a person. So that's really what Brand Face is all about. And when I first started working well, I actually started in media. I spent 18 years in the radio industry. Okay. And I noticed that a lot of business owners would walk into an event and they would almost be like rock stars. And I thought, who is that person? And really they were people who were representing their own brand on radio, television, newspaper, and so forth. And then when I met Ron, I was fortunate enough, you know, he is not only the #1 recognized home improvement brand in Central Ohio, but really one of the most recognized business brands in all of Central Ohio. So when I had an opportunity to work with him, that just kind of brought everything full circle, and so glad that he's my co-author now.
Yeah, and Ron, I mean, you are Brand Face. That is what you are. You embody this. So was that concept, you know, the concept of this, how did you first kind of take it? Were you like, this is somebody I need to work with, this is...
Well, I knew that, you know, obviously I had a pretty recognizable brand, but I still felt there was a lot of room to grow. And one of the things I didn't like at the time was my logo. And the first thing Tanya did, I said, well, what can you know, I want to do a brand audit, and I knew she was had a company that could do that, and I hired her to audit my brand. And I thought to myself, I'm probably about a 7 out of 10 or whatever, and she gave me a little higher grade, but she spent about a year working with me, auditing the brand, and first thing she said is, you have a horrible logo. And
I didn't say it exactly like that.
Blunt,
and I said,
right?
well, but I thought the same thing. I wasn't happy with it, and I thought, well, I knew I trusted her then, because immediately she changed it to what it is today, which is more of a caricature of me. And, you know, I'm not getting any younger, so before it was a photo, and it just wasn't. And then she said, you know, what do you do? And she came up with, well, let's see, you do everything from fix to finish. So she came up with that for me. I'm going to give her 100% credit. And so together we really worked hard, and she saw a speech I did at Columbus State University and said, you need to turn that into a book. So she helped me do that on a previous book. And then she'd come out with her own Brand Face book. And she said she wanted to do one for the home improvement industry. And I said, that's great.
Perfect. All right. So then this is what we lead to today, the Brand Face book for the home improvement professionals. So Tanya, what is in this book? What's it about?
Okay, it is basically about how to become the face of your own business, how to do so seamlessly, and once you create and develop that brand, that identifier, if you will, how do you then take that brand and put it consistently and correctly across every marketing platform that we touch, from internet to television, newspaper, radio, all of those platforms.
And Ron, you give back. You do so much for charity, for local in the community. Is this kind of another way you're kind of giving back to the community you live in?
Well, I think, yeah, but you know, we actually are going to take this a little beyond the Central Ohio community. I mean, this is, you know, Tanya's business. I just happen to be the brand that she's featuring in the book, but I've been quoted as saying this is the textbook of how to be a brand. And she said, a brand is a real strong brand is not a trademark, it's an emotion. it's how people feel about you. And you mentioned giving back and doing things. I think that any brand has to be. I'd like to think we're part of the fabric of not just this community, but as my company has been growing, we've been doing some of the same things in a regional and even in a national level now.
Definitely. All right, where can we get the book? Amazon, I know it is on there, right?
It is. If you go to Amazon and search Brand Face at the top, you'll actually see all 4 books in the series there. But brandfacestar.com is where you'll go to get information and see Ron's photo on there as well.
All right, Ron, Tanya, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Robin.
Thanks, Robin.